Hello, my name is Tracy Stafford and I'm the owner of Integration Pilates Studio in the Oliver area of Edmonton. And this is the 10-Minute Fix, my video blog designed to fix you. I mean that very tongue-in-cheek, of course, because you are not broken. In fact, you are fabulous. Of that, I am very positive. But I know that it's hard to fit it all in. So my hope is that this short video segment will give you a little bit of that fix, of that feeling of fitness, of wholeness, of empowerment from within. So my first video has to be about breathing. It's the first thing I teach in my Pilates classes and one-on-ones, and it's the first thing I do in my own workout. So let's start by sitting right up onto your sitting bones and lengthening up through your spine like there's a string pulling up through the top of your head. Widen your collarbones and let the shoulder blades relax down your back. Relax your jaw, relax your throat, and relax your hips. Now, bring your hands to the sides of your ribs. If you can go to the widest part of your ribs, which for women we often call the bra line area, and have your fingers wrapped around the front and your thumbs wrapped around the sides and the back. And we'll start off breathing slowly, inhaling through your nose and exhaling through your mouth like you're slowly blowing out a candle. And we'll breathe slowly together. So inhaling for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhaling for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhaling 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhaling 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And keep breathing this way slowly, breathing down into where your hands are. So as you're inhaling, feel the ribs widen out into your hands like an accordion is opening. And as you're breathing out, feel the accordion close so the ribs have the feeling of squeezing together and down. Inhaling, the ribs are widening open like an accordion expanding. And breathing out, the ribs are closing. The accordion is closing. Keep breathing this way, seeing if you can sense not only are you breathing sideways, but also breathing towards the back of the ribs. So that when you inhale, you can feel the ribs widening out to where your thumbs are in the back of the ribs. And as you're breathing out, you're really squeezing the bottom ribs down together in the front. And we call often this exhale the funnel breath. And we call it funneling because when you're exhaling, your ribs are narrowing down like the bottom of the funnel closing, but the collarbones are staying really wide at the top of the funnel. And it's also called funnel breathing because when you're exhaling, there can be a sense of sighing out your air, of really relaxing your chest. So your energy is funneling down towards your center. And when you're breathing in, it's as though your air is heavy. It's coming down into the bottom of the ribs to widen. And when you're breathing out, the ribs are funneling down. You're relaxing your chest, relaxing your shoulders. So when you're breathing in, not breathing shallowly up into the front of the chest excessively or up into the shoulders, but again, imagine that your air is heavy and coming down into the bottom of the lungs. So it's very cleansing. Keep breathing this way and bring your hands down to the low abdominals to where your hip bones are, and then just inside your hip bones to your low abdominals. And this is where it's easiest to feel the deepest layer of your abdominals, your transverse abdominals. And they're called the transverse abdominals because it runs around your whole torso transversely like a corset or like a stability belt. And your transverse abdominals really hold your core together, hold your spine together, and lengthen your spine and your waist and decompress. Often we strengthen the more superficial abdominals by doing crunches or something like that, using your six-pack muscles, the rectus abdominis. And that's more what they do. They will make your body more crunchy, more compressed, or smaller. If you're doing that without training the deeper inner transverse abdominals first. So you want to start here. And especially if you have a lower back injury, you want to feel this deep transverse because it's what's helping to take the pressure off of the discs. So again, with your hands just inside your hip bones to your low abdominals, we want to feel these muscles pull tight like a seat belt being pulled tight across your pelvis. So as you inhale, you can let the ribs widen and expand. And as you exhale and funnel, draw the seatbelt muscles tight, pulling them flat across your pelvis. And then inhaling again, the ribs are widening open and expanding. And as you're breathing out, you're funneling your ribs down and pulling the seatbelt tight across your pelvis. Keep doing this, feeling the muscles relax slightly on your inhale, and then pulling the seatbelt tight on your exhale. And the seatbelt image is really helpful because you can imagine a belt that has several notches that through the day when you're sitting at your desk or driving, you can be tightening that seatbelt to say 40% or the fourth notch. So they're engaged a little bit. And then if you're being really active in Pilates or going running, for example, you might tighten it up to the 8th notch. So there's real degrees of how much you can engage these muscles, so it's not just an on or off switch, depending on what you're doing. Finally, we'll go into the last part of your core breathing using your pelvic floor. And so you might feel right now you're sitting on 4 bones. Your pubic bone is at the front, your tailbone is at the back, and the sitting bones are on either side, so it's making a diamond shape. And all the muscles of the pelvic floor are within that diamond shape. Now, for men and women, it's going to feel different of how these muscles are engaging, but in general, you want to sense that when all of these muscles are contracting, that there's a drawing inward and upward kind of a feeling. Okay, so there's an upward lifting sense, but also a narrowing in towards the center line sense. And then when you're relaxing the muscles, there's a lowering down and a spreading sense. And so the pelvic floor works a lot with the diaphragm in your ribs. It's often called the pelvic diaphragm. So when you're inhaling, the pelvic floor is relaxing and spreading. It's making room for your air to come in. And as you exhale, the muscles are drawing in and up, and they're helping to push out your air. So you can sense that as you inhale, the pelvic floor is lowering and spreading as air is coming in. And as you exhale, the muscles are drawing in and up like they're creating the exhale. You're pushing your air out right from your pelvic floor. So when you're breathing in, the ribs are widening open, the pelvic floor is going down and spreading. And as you're exhaling and you're funneling the ribs in, you're drawing the seatbelt in tight and lifting the pelvic floor in and up. Inhale, the ribs are widening, the pelvic floor can lower down and spread. And exhaling, drawing the pelvic floor in and up and tightening the seatbelt. So on the inhale, there's more of a relaxing phase of letting in. And on the exhale, you're engaging your core. You're drawing in and up. And then depending on what you're doing through the day, if you're being very active, you might want to relax the transverse abdominals and the pelvic floor very little. Again, if you're doing lots of Pilates or running, for example, and you want to let that lowering and spreading be small. But then at the end of the day, when you're really relaxing, you want to focus on letting the pelvic floor relax down and spread. And then just a small engagement and lifting when you're breathing out, so that you can really accommodate how your core muscles are working depending on the activity that you're doing through the day. So I encourage you to practice this in different places, standing, sitting, lying down, and please let me know how it feels for you. Until the next time, wishing you the very best of health and happiness.